Hi, I'm Mo. I'm so glad you're here today. I thought we would do a get ready with me. Actually, I just finished, just did this look, but I tried to do pretty much a full face of new products, and they're the products from the haul that I did Monday night. That was an Ulta haul. If you want to see that, I will link it below. I thought you might want to follow along while I tried out these products, do some mini reviews, tell you what I think of them, a few swatches here and there, and hope you enjoy that. So let's just see how I got this. We'll just get started here. I put on sunscreen. Pretty normal, that's all I've done. I'm gonna go with the Paula's Choice smoothing primer today. Just pretty standard, pea size amount. Although I never know how big the pea is supposed to be. But that's what they always tell you, right? Pea size amount. So I usually start kind of in the middle where most of my pores are, visible pores. And just kind of work it around from the middle to the perimeter of my face. Pretty normal stuff. I don't know about this primer. It has SPF 35. I should have mentioned that. I'm pretty big on sunscreen, so I already have a moisturizing sunscreen on, but a little extra sunscreen on the primer does not hurt, right? I'm using the new Revolution Conceal and Hydrate. I used this all day yesterday. I think I like this foundation. Oh, you know what's funny? So the Conceal and Define, in case you remember, had like one of those huge doe foot applicators, which really isn't my preference. So this one, I'm like twisting the thing off, and I pulled it out, and it just looked like a stick. And I realized, oh, wonder of wonders, this one has a pump. I know, I'm so excited about that. So we all love our pumps, right? So probably about a pump. And this is in shade F4, which I am finding is a pretty good match for me. It has a bit of that gray undertone that I seem to get along well with. So I'm just gonna dot it around. And I think I'll just use my Real Techniques Expert Face Brush. I've got a mirror up here, by the way, because I am not savvy enough to just do this in the monitor of my phone. I'm not that talented. So if you see me looking up, that's what's going on. It's interesting here today. I woke up and it was raining, so quite gray. But now the sun is starting to peek through, so I'm sure it's going to mess with my lighting, which, you know, that's just reality. I can live with that. That's part of the way I want to do things. It's just, you know, real life, the way it would be in your real house. Granted, I'm not usually getting ready in the middle of my living room, but for filming, works a bit better because I have a nice big window. And I'm a big fan of natural light in general. One of the reasons I like my house is because it's got lots of natural light. So the lighting will go in and out, and if that bothers you, then, you know, I don't know, that can be annoying. But in life, we don't always have perfect lighting or perfect situations. Okay. So that was one. I mean, I still have some on my hand. That's not even a full pump. And that did some pretty darn good coverage. I'm usually, medium coverage is usually what I'm striving for. So it's on. There we go. I'm happy with that. I don't have a lot that I feel like I need to cover up. I'm okay wearing makeup or not makeup. I just enjoy makeup. But around my nose is definitely red. So foundation on. I really like this foundation. I'm so happy. So I'm gonna do concealer. I am a big fan of the e.l.f. Camo concealer. It's $5, great price, and it works for me. I don't like a heavy concealer, even though this seems like it would be completely intense. It works very well for me. I use a light hand with concealer, so I just put really that much on the back of my hand. This is an old Bobbi Brown. It's actually an eye smudge brush that has a nice little point, and I use it for concealer because that works really well for me. And I just put the slightest bit around my nose. There goes the lighting. Just to cover up that little bit of redness. And then I put a touch kind of under my eyes here, but not very much. I don't have a lot of darkness under my eyes, but I've always had this, like, I guess it's the anatomy of the way my eyes are made, that I have kind of these, I don't know if my eyes are deep set or what. No one's ever been able to really help me understand what exactly that is. And of course I'm getting older, so I suppose it's more of a bag, eye bag issue. What a terrible term, eye bags, right? So I just put a bit on. Ta-da. And I have hyperpigmentation and stuff, but I don't try to cover every little thing I have. I also don't use the term problem areas. I don't like to think of it that way. I like to think of makeup as just something I enjoy and something I'm using, but not that I have to, not that I have all these flaws and they must be fixed and I must be perfect. It's just it's not my way in the world, I guess. I'm just talking about makeup, but I'm perfectly comfortable not wearing makeup, but I just enjoy it. I sincerely enjoy it. From the time I was a little kid, I've loved makeup and fragrance. I don't know why. It's okay for people to like sports or like, you know, be a fan of this or that or collect whatever it is, but somehow makeup is like seems like a different thing. Like, why do you like makeup? Why would you spend your money on makeup? Well, because I like it. It's the thing that I like. So I got 2 eyeshadow palettes when I did my haul. This was the Salute Paris from Essence, and then the Catrice by Eman, and I sincerely hope I'm saying that name correctly. So I thought I'd show you some swatches because that's always helpful to me. I've used the Salute Paris a couple of times. There's the colors. And I've used the Eman once. So let's just swatch. Let's see if I can get this there without annoying you with the mirror too much. I'm just gonna swatch these. Oop. I am not a professional swatcher. Fun fact. So these first 2, to me, they're like the same color. See that? They're like both just light, I don't know what shade I'd call them, bone shade, maybe. Do the next ones here. These didn't wow me. They're not bad. It's a $10 palette. And the color story is definitely right up my alley, but they don't have a ton of punch. Having said that, I used it twice and I was not unhappy with the looks I got. So there we go. I know that lighting is making it a bit tricky, especially to see that kind of light shimmery shade. So there's the palette and the swatches. But it's really not bad. Not great, not bad. Let's do the Catrice also. This one I thought, this one's a little bit better. This one I think was, I believe this was 12. I should have looked that up. This one has, you know, somewhat deeper colors. As I said in my haul, it has a nice summer into fall kind of vibe to it. I feel like that swatch isn't really being fair to it. And then these, they feel nice. That one feels a little dry. That one feels pretty good. Got kind of a mess here. I'll see those swatch pretty well. Yeah, I like this palette. I think this is the palette I'm going to use today, actually. I hadn't decided until just now. And we've got, this one has soft, pretty standard, and then good old matte black. What would we do without matte black, right? So there's the swatches from the Catrice. Hopefully that's helpful. Catrice by Eman. Yeah, I like this. I think this isn't a bad little palette. I will say I prefer the Catrice palette to the Essence palette of the 2 that I'm, you know, kind of working with today. So let's do something with that palette. And I'm not going to do anything crazy. Editorial is definitely not my look. Like, again, I'm just a makeup enthusiast. So we'll start with Fairfax. Just going to use that kind of all over. I don't typically set my eye primer. I know there's great debate about you should set it, you shouldn't set it, whatever. I say just do what works for you. In this case, I just kind of like this color, so I'm just putting it all over, and I suppose it works in a dual capacity, right? Because it's working as a setting my primer and being a little bit of a lighter shade to put down. I also think one of the things I liked about this palette, now I'm not sure there would be a good color like this kind of color, this light shade. I'm not sure that if you have a rich, deep complexion, that is maybe too light. But I thought the others were pretty good. Like, I think you could find a transition shade in there, and a lid shade and that kind of thing, because of course it's always difficult, right? One palette, is that going to serve everyone? It would be awesome if it did. I certainly think it should, but... And that's where you get into, there should be more choices. Lots of people, lots of skin tones, should be lots of choices. So I'm just putting, I'm sorry, I should have told you. So Sunset, I'm just putting in the crease. These are my Wayne Goss brushes. I have the eye set from Wayne Goss, and I waited years to get it. I got it for Christmas. This past Christmas, actually, from my husband. It was a lovely gift. Because they're pricey brushes. And they're nice. They do work. I had heard, I think it was Kristen Game, this was several years ago, saying that these were good if you have small eyes. And I don't have teeny tiny eyeballs, but my entire facial anatomy is pretty little. I just have a teeny tiny, I always say I have a pinhead. I have a tiny head, like I wear children's hats. I wish I was kidding about that. I'm like this weird, like I have a pinhead, but I have all this big wavy hair, and I'm short. And I've always been kind of hourglass shaped. I'm an odd compilation. So finding clothes and everything else is always interesting. What do we want here? Maybe I will do, I like that. See how pretty that is? I mean, I didn't do anything fancy in terms of dipping back in a billion times or anything. That just had some nice color payoff. And you know, I don't believe that you have to have a crease color and then a deep in the outer corner and then you have to do this or you have to do that. Just do what you like. Do what works for your eyes. Do what's simple. Do what, you know, you have time for, which is kind of what a lot of us are dealing with. So I'm really happy with that so far. And I might take that same color, Sunset. I'm switching brushes even though sometimes I don't. Sometimes I just do it all with one brush. Again, just breaking all the YouTube makeup rules, right? Such a pretty color. Sunset, I like it. That's nice. I'm just heading out of town today. Nothing, like, not eventy or anything. I'm not a big event person. I'm not a big travel person. I just live kind of an average life, I guess, which I'm perfectly happy with. I want to do something on the lid. What do we think? I'm always drawn to like that kind of shade. I think I might do this Hollywood Boulevard. Let's do it. And when it comes to glitter or shimmer, fingertip works for me. Oh, this is darker than I thought. It's a pretty little palette. It really is. And like I said, summer into fall, yeah. That's it. I certainly could deepen up the crease, or I could do whatever, but I'm happy with that. Sometimes I get to a point where I just think, oh, well, I'm there. I'm happy. It's good enough for me. I like the way it looks. I'm not a huge brow person. You know, I grew up, I was a kid in the 80s and 90s, and brows were not a thing. Like, there weren't brow products and all that stuff. Gimme brow is what I like. A little teeny wand. I like this because this just gives them a little color. It amps them up ever so slightly. And I should tell you I used the shade 4.5 in that Gimme Brow. I wanted to use this blush. So it's Sweet Cheeks blush. The color is Red Riot. And I think I had mentioned this in my haul that this is, it's interesting. It's from NYX. There are 8 shades, at least that's what I saw when I went shopping. And there are 4 glowy and 4 matte. Now this one is, according to them, glowy. There's also a matte version of this exact same color. It's a deep shade. I mean, this is deeper than I would usually choose, but when I swatched it in store, it looked like it sheared out pretty nicely, and I'm not afraid to try something if I can. So I'm just gonna dip in here. This is just my e.l.f. blush brush, which is my go-to because it's small. Oh, look at that. Oh, whoops. Okay, dipped in a bit. Too much, perhaps. So it's got some color payoff. If you're looking for a deep, colorful blush, which I know people are, absolutely, because there's lots of light colors out there. This might be your thing. So it's probably a bit heavy-handed. We'll let it go for a second here. I will tell you though, you know, you kind of look at it, I'm not seeing a lot of glow. I'm just not. Or are you? See, well, there's a little glow, but I admit I was expecting more of a glow based on the swatch that I did. This is more blush than I would normally wear. I shouldn't say more. It's more color than I typically have on my cheeks. And again, I think I mentioned I use the e.l.f. blush brush because it's small. And again, I have a teeny tiny face. I even thought about naming my channel Little Face, but I decided against it. It's a little tricky in this light to see, but I don't see, there's not a ton of glow coming off of that. And I admit I'm probably unfairly comparing it to the Beauty Bakery Cotton Candy Champagne palette. Have you seen that? Oh, that's a glowy brush. That is glowy. I really like that palette. So blush done, eyes done, brows done, eyes not done, lies. I still have to do some mascara. I don't think I'm going to do any liner today. Sometimes I just skip liner. In fact, frequently I skip liner. So what else did I have in the haul? So we did the foundation, we did eyeshadow, swatch those for you. We did the blush. Oh, I have to get the lip. I do have to get the lip. I will do that. Because I really like those MAC Love Me lipsticks. Really, really, really like those. Quickly, in fact, I'm gonna go get those. Okay. I'm gonna do the eyelashes first, but I did get the lips. I have to look in a mirror for this. I am not that talented. Or ta-da, mirror. This will probably reflect on me. I'm never sure I hold a lash curler correctly. I feel like I hold it like too low or something. Other people seem to have a better way with lash curlers than I do. And I was going to use the mascara I hauled as well, which is that MAC Extended Play Perm Me Up Lash. I've only tried this once, but I kind of liked it. I like really separated lashes. It's got a nice, it's natural bristle, little curve to the wand. I find it lengthening, defining, and its big claim is that it holds curl for up to 16 hours. I don't have a huge problem with curl hold, but I will say that when I used this, I was like, oh, my lashes seem like they're staying really curled, like unusually. So from that perspective, I like it. It seems to be a relatively dry formula. So far anyway. Mascaras change over time. Sometimes for the better, often for the better, sometimes not. So I've got mostly, again, I don't know if that's helpful. But yeah, I like that. And I will usually, kind of when I'm done, I did 2 coats by the way, and kind of when I'm done, then I'll hit the lower lashes just kind of quickly here. I have fairly long lower lashes. Which I didn't realize until I started having people in stores do my makeup, and they were like, oh, you have really long lower lashes. Do I? I didn't know. So there we go. Mascara on. Brows done. Oh, lip. I told you I'd tell you about the lip. This is my favorite thing from the haul. Just just so you know. These are the MAC Love Me lipsticks, and I really like these. Pretty packaging, you know, standard MAC shape, but it's shiny. You can see that. And then they've got kind of this ombre going on here, top and bottom. This is Hey Frenchie. This is the one that I was particularly drawn to when I first saw them. One swipe. It's like they weigh nothing. That is one swipe. And on my lips, I feel like I'm putting on like a veil. I really, really like these. Here. So there's the shade. And there's the swatch, if that's useful. But really, I mean, you can see that. Just one swipe, and they're supposed to contain, I believe they contain like argan oil. I've worn these several times this week, and they have surprisingly good staying power. It's not like a liquid lipstick or anything like that. But they lasted through like coffee and a scone and drinking water. And then even when I came home last night, I still had a bit of almost like a stain on my lips, so that was good. So this is Hey Frenchie. This one is Bated Breath, mauve-y pink, and this one's got a bit more blue. This is like the color I'm gonna go for. Every time I walk into a store, if there's a lipstick display, it's gonna be that kind of shade. Oh, let's take the hair down. Not that I do anything with my hair. It's just, this is my hair. It's wavy. That's natural. I air dry it. Ta-da. There you go. So that's my follow-up on my haul. Like I said, the blush, not terribly glowy. So I like it. It's not as glowy as I would have hoped. I think this would be great on deeper skin tones, which I think is a plus. I think this little eyeshadow palette is really nice. Again, there are the colors, $12 from Catrice, I believe. And I think that would work on a range of skin tones. Lips are the favorite. Definitely that MAC lipstick is my favorite, but I also really like this Conceal and Hydrate foundation. I don't know that I'm even going to do a full review on this because this is the second day I've worn it. It wore for 12 hours yesterday beautifully. I like the color. I don't think it's like crazy showing texture. It feels good. I'm just really happy with this. I'm really happy with this. So overall, that haul was really, really successful. I mean, I do kind of take my time. I don't have a ton of money to just go and spend on whatever. So I try to be selective when I'm going shopping for makeup and doing a haul and that kind of thing. And I tried to find pretty much a full face this time when I went shopping. I think I succeeded, and I'm happy with the look. And as always, thank you for being here. I just love it. I love hanging out talking about makeup. It's so nice of you to spend your time here, and I will talk to you soon.